Well, 70 plus years ago, we had to build this country, roads, bridges, infrastructure, and then we stopped making the big investments in our economy, in our infrastructure. So now it's time to do that again. Now it's time to make a big investment in our infrastructure, which is going to make us more prosperous, build more companies, more jobs, more businesses. And what it's going to mean is up to 15 million good working class, middle class jobs. And these are construction jobs, these are labor jobs, good paying, and I'm very excited about it because it's going to make a huge difference for Coloradans. Yeah, so we have a lot of people that work in the construction industry in our community, and it's those types of jobs that are going to benefit the most from the American Jobs Plan. We're going to rebuild our roads, our bridges, our electrical lines, our water lines, and it's our laborers and our construction workers that are going to do that work. And it doesn't require a 4-year degree. I've been a long believer in making sure that we're building out more blue-collar working class jobs. And these are plumbers, pipe fitters, electricians, laborers. Those are the types of jobs that we need the most right now in this country as we rebuild our nation and rebuild the infrastructure, and they're going to benefit the most from this plan. Yeah, my main concern is just making sure that people get vaccinated. We're doing really well in Colorado. We have 45% of the state completely vaccinated. We have about 55% of the state that has received at least one vaccination. This is an extremely safe vaccination. I've received it, my wife has received it. As soon as it's approved for children, my children will receive it. It's so important to make sure we're protecting our parents, our grandparents, and our entire community, and the best way to protect the people we love is by getting the vaccination. Well, I continue to work really hard to provide oversight and to make sure that people that are in that facility are treated with human dignity, with respect, and that are given the medical treatment that they deserve, and that we should give them when they're in our community. So as part of that, there is still an outbreak of COVID within that facility, and it's really important that we're providing vaccinations to staff as well as the detainees, and we're going to work really closely with the Tri-County Health Department to make sure that they are given access to those vaccinations. I don't think bipartisanship is dead. In fact, I think there are a lot of areas in which it's still working pretty well. I just introduced 9 new bills in the past month. 6 of those I introduced along with a Republican co-sponsor. So there's a lot of areas we can work together, and there are actually bipartisan discussions regarding immigration reform that are actually ongoing with the Senate right now. I am concerned about the lack of bipartisanship on issues of national security and domestic security in the January 6th Commission. I think it's incredibly important that we have a bipartisan commission to investigate what happened on January 6th, to address the extremism and conspiracy theories that are taking root and spreading within our community and within the country. And there has not been bipartisanship on that issue in the way that I would like to see it, and that has been disappointing. Yeah, I do think it's possible to do that. And in fact, I think that's the way that it's going to have to get done. There's going to have to be Republican support. There's going to have to be some Republicans that are going to stand up and come across the aisle to meet us and pass things like the Dream and Promise Act. It's not going to get done any other way. There are only a very few of them that are willing to do it right now, because we have actually passed the Dream and Promise Act. The Democrats have passed it now twice, last Congress and again this Congress. So I'm going to continue to encourage my Republican colleagues to join us in that effort to reform. It continues to be very difficult to get very common sense things through the United States Senate. Now, we've passed these things in the House of Representatives now twice. Universal background checks, extreme risk protection orders, closing loopholes, common sense things that are actually supported by over 90% of Americans. Over 9 out of 10 people in our community and throughout the country support this stuff because they know that it's common sense, that it actually respects the Second Amendment, that it's things that responsible gun owners like myself and others support, and that will save thousands of lives and will make our children safer. Getting it through the Senate's hard because of the filibuster, which is this very arcane Senate procedure. Because of that, you have to get 60 votes, which is a very hard thing to do in the United States Senate right now, but we're going to keep on trying. Well, for many months there were National Guard troops and fencing around the entire Capitol. Much of that fencing has been taken down and moved inside, closer to the Capitol. The National Guard troops have left now. Things are tense there. They really are. There's a lot of tension in the air. Emotions are running very high. So I'm doing everything I can to make sure that we're addressing security threats, that we're securing the Capitol and the seat of our democracy, but also trying to reach across the aisle to those Republicans who will work with me that are stepping up to push back on some of the extremism and trying to do good things for the country. Well, tonight I'm taking my son to a Rockies game. That's the start. I'm going to a baseball game, which is great. I mean, I think everyone's feeling right now that we're near the end of this. And we can be near the end of this. Businesses open back up. I went to a beer hall over the weekend, going to restaurants again, going to baseball games, not having to wear masks all the time. We can get there, and we are getting there. But the most important thing is that people get vaccinated. That's what's going to save lives, and that's what's going to let us get back to normal. That's what's going to create jobs and open our businesses up fully if people get their vaccination. So I just encourage people again to do it. It's safe, it works, it's effective, and it'll make us all healthier and make our economy stronger.